What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it with another reaction. We have a new video in the reaction rotation here. I actually saw this creator through stuff that he was doing, but then also on Curtis King's show and looking up things that he does. He's an artist as well, battle rapper. And so whenever I see artists who are able to like break through into something else and then it leads them to, and like they do music, I'm always fascinated by that. But this particular video is Kendrick Lamar has given us a puzzle to solve in regards to his music video, Luther. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. So let's go ahead and see what he's got to say. I know I've been seeing all different types of, not all different types. I looked at a few breakdowns and I was like, one thing for sure is the fact that the woman who's his love interest, Kendrick Lamar's love interest, is a singer. I think Nigerian singer from LA. And I got one of her videos in the reaction, playlist. So definitely check that out. But I heard people talking about numerology. I heard like all different types of like crazy stuff. So let's see what he's got to say.
This video is about to get very surgical, so stay with me, all right? But I got a theory.
Okay.
Okay? Now, there's a whole lot of theories going around. There's a whole lot of, and that's what I love about Kendrick Lamar's art, is it gets us thinking. Some of us gonna be wrong, some of us gonna be right. It is what it is. The fun part is trying to come to the conclusion of what he's trying to put out there. That's the point of the conversation, right? So I got a theory that based on everything that's been going on, I feel like makes the most sense. Okay? Now, in the Luther music video that just dropped today, I actually just did a reaction after this video. Go check that out. There was this scene where it looks like a gate or door has been opened, right? And we're presented with the GNX and the red, a red cover over the GNX. Not only is there a red cover over the GNX, Kendrick Lamar is firing shots while standing next to the GNX.
It was
okay.
On my reaction, that was one of the things that I saw. Now people would forward me like, "Hey, this was done in LA," because I was just like, the reason why I thought that it might have been done in Canada was just because Drake had that music video where he was in the elevator, and I was just like, "Oh, it might be dope." But one of the things that I noticed, because it was so quick, like if you was just like grooving and everything, you would miss it. But he randomly just started clapping. I was all like, wait. Who did he burk? Like, so I'm curious to see what he thinks that is. Me personally, now looking at the video, seeing some of the theories, seeing, different things, it's interesting because he's just there. There was parts where it's just like people brought up the fact that in the scenes where he wasn't with the love interest, he was not happy. But I'm just all like, did he like accidentally, not accidentally, but did he clap her or something like that? Like that was my thinking behind it. It was just like this weird love thing that both Kendrick and SZA was doing, and then they meet up with each other after the deed is done, sort of thing. It's interesting. It's interesting.
My initial thought was, okay, what this is telling me is this deluxe is about to uncover, and Kendrick Lamar is about to be sending heavy shots. That was my initial thought. But then I started thinking, okay, this is the same setup and the same look as the body snippet, okay? And what people don't forget about this body snippet is that this little part, like this little opening we see right here,
that wasn't on GNX.
The same opening that we see is the same opening that we see here.
Okay.
It's the same exact opening. But in this one, it actually opens up. Okay? Now, when it opens
Oh.
up, we see two GNX. Kendrick
Mm-hmm.
Lamar gets out of one GNX, goes stand where that the lighting is, and he looks up, which then uh shows us this side. Okay? Now the first thing I'm getting
Mm.
is duality. Okay, one
Yeah.
side of Kendrick Lamar, especially with the song, because he's talking about all these different things. The song feels uplifting, the lyrics feel uplifting, and then all of a sudden we switch to a different energy. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with him. He's in a different outfit, etc. Right? I think Kendrick Lamar is still, as always, playing with duality.
Yeah.
But then we notice in the Luther video, Kendrick Lamar pulls up on SZA in a GNX.
Yeah.
Okay? And SZA looks different as well.
Mm-hmm.
Different fit, etc. All right?
Different hair.
Now, this is my theory.
Okay, let's
I
go. Let's go.
believe that from now on, the next few music videos we're about to see is going to tell a complete story.
Mm.
Okay? What I
Mm.
believe is those videos are then going to lead up to this.
Mm.
That's my theory. Okay?
Okay.
My
I can
theory
see that.
is that what we're seeing right now is like a long series that's being dropped out of order. Okay?
Okay. That would make sense because you have little teasers, you have little things because that makes sense. That makes sense because he's been dropping these, and the fact that he brought up the other video makes so much sense. And then to have this whole, because I'm like that gun part, that was so random in the video, but it would make sense because people was also saying that there was photos and stuff that was put in there was photos and stuff floating around of different shots as far as that Kendrick was doing, but they weren't in the Luther video. So people were saying, "Oh, there's more music dropping. There's another music video dropping." So I'm curious to see and what that whole story could actually be because now I'm sitting up there like, yo, he's in his Marvel Cinematic like Easter egg. Like to me, as a person who is an artist as well as a fan of hip hop, and then in multiple mediums, it is dope to see this type of stuff put into music videos because so often people are like, oh, I don't want to think, I don't want to I don't want to do all this. It's too layered. Like I don't want to have to. Yes, you actually do. This is why those type of videos explain, the nugget, different things. That's why those videos go crazy because your mind actually, weirdly enough, wants the challenge of pushing piecing these particular types of things together. You may think like, oh, I just want to be on the vibe, I just want to be X, Y, and Z, but then you're sitting up there spending hours looking at TikToks and YouTubes about, all of what it could be. So I think your mind naturally wants that challenge, even though some people may say, I don't want to think that much, da, 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 da. Apparently people do.
Because I believe that we will end up seeing the GNX uncovered in a music video before this video comes out. That's what I think. I think some of the conclusions are difficult to come to because we don't
Because
have all the
you don't have
details
the
yet.
full, yeah.
I believe that Kendrick Lamar is attempting to tell a story through music videos. And
Mm.
why would that be crazy to think about considering the first thing when they asked him for the Super Bowl performance, what is it that you're trying to do? What is it you're trying to pull off? What is it you're trying to boom, boom? He said storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay? GNX with songs like Reincarnated, Gloria, Heart Part 6, it's a lot of storytelling. Okay? And I
Yeah.
think that with all the other elements of his art, he's going to continue to step into storytelling. Now, we understand that PG Lane is a multifaceted company.
Yeah. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Catalog. Yeah. These are not singles, these are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So, anyways. No, that's true. I'm gonna leave this full video for y'all to check out. And you may ask, like, why I do certain reactions that way. It's because I want to give the original creator that shine. So it's just all like, hey, if you want to, so that way you don't see the whole thing through me. If you do want to see the whole thing, you could check that out. But I usually do that just for that reason. So sometimes people ask, like, why don't you react to the whole thing? I give enough to where I can give my commentary. It's enough filled in to where it's not just me looking at it. Oh yeah, da, da, da. I try to make it somewhat transformative and give my thoughts on it without taking all of the person's video. So this was dope. This makes me think, that there is that story because I'm all like, it would that's the only way it could kind of make sense is if there is an overarching storyline with G and X and there's things missing. So when the next video drops, you could be like, okay, then go back to the other one. All I know is that his views is gonna be crazy. They're already crazy. They're already crazy, but just to be able to be like, okay, let me go back and look at the video, let me go look at that one, and it's dope. I'm very curious to see what other people are thinking about this as well. Let me know what y'all think. It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.